Today, I wanted to go through the things that I wish I knew before becoming a startup CFO. So, I've got 5 insights that I wish somebody told me as a, say, financial controller. So, when I was stepping into that role, I was prepared for it. Hi, my name's Alysha Randall, and I am a trainer at Financial Leadership Foundations, and I'm also a fractional CFO. And today I wanted to go through those 5 insights of what I wish I knew before becoming a startup CFO. So the first thing is you don't have to know everything. And this is with all roles, not just a startup CFO role, but when you're working in that startup environment, it is constantly changing, it's super chaotic, and lots of things get thrown at you that perhaps you've never done before. And that's fine because the rest of the business is in the same boat. Even the founder, they may be a first-time founder. They've never been a CEO before. They've never run a company before. So you're not alone in that regard. And therefore, you're not expected to have all of the answer. So instead, you want to use the things that you have at your fingertips to help you find the process, answer questions, and lots of different things. Obviously, tools and technologies are one of the first things you're going to look at. ChatGPT, of course, can help you either simplify processes, answer a question, even if it's something like, how do you do a Series A fundraise? What is a Series A fundraise, and what do you need to do? What does a good process look like? So anything you've never done before, it's good to ask technology to help you with those things. You also really want to tap into a network of peers, mentors, and experts for guidance. So obviously, I'm going to talk about myself. So at Financial Leadership Foundations, we have a huge amount of resources that may be able to help you for free. We have hundreds of blogs on the financial leadership website that you can access, and you can read all the different topics. We have all the topics on the side and you can check those out. We obviously have the Financial Leadership Foundations course. So there we have an insane amount of resources and education for you, as well as monthly Q&A sessions with myself. But not only me, that sounds terrible, but also your network. So all the people that you studied with, that you've met at prior companies, that you've gone to finance groups. There are so many CFO groups as well, and even startup CFO groups. So really make sure that you're networking and gathering a good group of people that you can reach out to if you need to. R&D resources are really there to solve challenges and discover new approaches. There are lots of different resources that can come into your inbox, whether, say, it's one of the big four accounting firms doing a paper, whether it's your local tax accountant sending out weekly emails or workshops. There's lots of different resources that you can look at, particularly around R&D and things that are coming up. So whether that is changes in tax legislation and things that you need to be aware of, whether there's a new process or new technology, which is probably the main one, new technology that you need to be aware of that could potentially help you. So with that, I do a new tech stack recommendations every 6 months. This is for relatively early stage startups. So if you have an ERP, you're probably not interested in this. But if you don't have an ERP yet and are using a general ledger such as Xero or QuickBooks, then you may want to check that out. I'll leave a link for the one I did in September, but the new one, if you subscribe to this YouTube channel, then you will see when the new one comes out in. And then we also do weekly workshops. So if you're interested in signing up to the next workshop, feel free to click on the link. I'll leave that below as well. Number 2 is future focused leadership is really key. And I have talked about this quite a lot before, but that movement from a more managerial role, so say a financial controller and even a head of finance, into a CFO role and also sometimes a finance director role, then you really need to step beyond just those operational tasks and focus on the long-term strategy. So financial operations and the management of those aren't ignored, but instead you have a team that really focuses on those. And when you're, say, reviewing the management accounts, of course, you're looking for accuracy and consistency, but you're also looking at it and thinking, okay, what does that tell me about the future? How can I help the business become more financially stable? How can I help the business scale and go with those growth plans? And how can I ensure that the business will hit its strategic goals? So always ask yourself, where does this decision or this report take the business in the next 6 to 12 or 24 months? So making sure you're a forward thinker, making sure you're very proactive and not just a reactive manager. So again, I've talked about this transition from manager to leadership quite a bit. 2 weeks ago, I did a video on financial controller to a finance director. So I'll leave a link for that below, above and below. Number 3 is you understand the business better than most, even when you're new. And the reason why I say that is because a CFO and a finance leader really have that bird eye view of the company's operations and how they interact. And the CEO obviously has that as well, but you really get to understand it from an operational point of view. A lot of the other leadership team obviously have this knowledge, but to a point. So a CTO, for example, would also have a view of how everything is interconnected, but is very focused on the delivery of the tech team. So it is focusing on the product roadmap, focusing on the architecture and the infrastructure of the business. And yes, the CFO is to a point, but because they have to understand really the commercials and the operations of the business, then they really have a good knowledge that can help the founder see that bigger picture. So generally you'll find that the CEO is the driver of the ship and the CFO is the right-hand man or woman. And you really want to champion that collaboration, making sure that you're linking finance insights with other departments such as sales, operations, and marketing. Number 4 is kind of leads on this, is that finance really is a gold mine of insights. So the finance function isn't just about numbers and just pumping out reports all the time. It's really about the story behind the numbers. So analyzing the data to reveal trends and opportunities and risks, and then providing these actionable insights to help guide the product, the hiring, and investment decisions of the rest of the business. So that is where finance is really important and can really be value adding. Gone are the days of finance just sitting in the corner and paying invoices. And then number 5 was challenging the status quo. So the most critical aspects of leadership is speaking up. You know, if something doesn't look right, if your guts is telling me, hey, this doesn't feel right, whether it's forecasts or budgets or decisions, your job is to challenge it. And you have the right to challenge that. That is your job. That is a big part of your role. So push back on ideas, even if it involves questioning the founder. That is what you should be doing. They want a sparring partner. They want someone to make sure that they're making the right decisions. You're there to ensure that the business remains aligned with its goals, and you really should be forming yourself as a trusted advisor and contributing your expertise confidentially, even if it's difficult conversations. So don't sit back and just focus on the numbers. Really challenge the business on the decisions that they're making. So becoming a startup CFO is much less about mastering everything up front, but it's very much about developing leadership skills, embracing continuous learning, and making sure that your value add and strategic thinking. So if you're on this path, you know, you're not alone. We've got lots of tools, networks, and resources, whether that's outside or, you know, the FLF resources that we have, and also the workshops we have. So with time and experience, you can really grow into this role and essentially then thrive as a leader and just get better and better and better. So thanks so much for watching today. They really are my 5 things that I wished I knew or somebody told me before I became a finance leader. And hopefully this has been useful for you. If you're watching on YouTube, then don't forget to click on the subscribe button below, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.